Most men are operating on a completely broken blueprint. You've been conditioned by movies, social media, and outdated advice to believe that attraction is a transactional game. You're told that if you just check enough boxes, the high-end car, the inflated bank balance, the gym-sculpted physique, or the high-status job title, women will be biologically forced to choose you. This is the checklist trap. While these external factors might catch someone's eye for a fleeting second, they are nothing more than surface-level noise. They are the packaging, not the product. The harsh reality is that you can have everything society deems successful and still walk into a room feeling invisible, while a guy with half your assets dominates the space. The real secret, the one that remains hidden in plain sight, is that attraction is triggered by a man's internal frequency, his energy. This isn't some mystical woo-woo concept. It is a primal biological response. Women are highly intuitive to the vibe a man projects because historically, a man's energy was the most reliable indicator of his ability to provide safety, stability, and leadership. When you see a man who isn't the tallest or the richest, yet has women leaning in and laughing at every word, you are witnessing the power of grounded energy. It's the difference between someone who is performing a role and someone who simply is the prize. You cannot buy this, and you certainly cannot fake it for long. The fatal mistake most men make is trying too hard. The moment you start trying to get a woman to like you, you have already lost. Why? Because the act of trying to impress is an admission that you don't believe your natural self is enough. It signals a lack of value. This creates a try-hard energy that is heavy, suffocating, and frankly, a massive turnoff. It's like a salesman who is too desperate to close a deal. You don't trust him, and you instinctively want to get away from him. When you chase, you communicate that what you are chasing is running away from you. You are literally pushing the very thing you want into the opposite direction because your energy is rooted in scarcity rather than abundance. Instead, the men who are truly magnetic operate from a place of calm, grounded presence. This is the eye of the storm energy. It isn't about being the loudest person in the room or asserting dominance through aggression. In fact, the man who has to shout to be heard is usually the most insecure person there. True power is quiet. It is an internal certainty, a deep-seated knowledge of your own worth that doesn't fluctuate based on a woman's reaction or a stranger's opinion. It's the vibe of a man who knows exactly where he is going in life. When you have this direction, you stop looking for external validation because you are validated by your own mission. This grounded energy manifests in the smallest, most undeniable details. It's in the way you hold eye contact without flinching, the way you speak with a steady, unhurried cadence, and the way you listen without constantly thinking about what to say next. Most importantly, it's revealed in how you react when things go wrong. While other men crumble under social pressure or get defensive during a conflict, the grounded man remains unshakable. He is the anchor. This level of emotional self-mastery is what creates a natural sense of comfort and safety for women. They don't have to guess here, because your presence speaks for you. This guide is about stopping the frantic chase and learning how to project an energy that makes the world come to you. 1. Stop trying to impress. One of the most destructive habits a man can have is the urge to manufacture attraction through performance. You've likely been conditioned to believe that dating is a high-stakes interview where you have to present a highlight reel of your life to be considered worthy. You think that by strategically dropping mentions of your promotion, the car you drive, or how many intellectual books you've read, that you're building a case for why a woman should like you. But here is the cold, hard truth. The second you try to win points, you've already lost the game. Attraction isn't a scoreboard, it's a feeling. When you lead with your achievements, you aren't showing high value, you're showing that you feel the need to justify your presence. It's a subtle form of begging for permission to be in the room, and it is the fastest way to kill any natural chemistry that might have existed. The reason trying is so toxic is because it radiates a desperate, high-pressure energy that everyone can feel. It's like a salesman who won't let you leave the store. The more he pushes the features and benefits, the more you want to get away from him. When you are focused on being impressive, you aren't actually connecting with the person in front of you, you are performing for them. This creates a massive amount of social friction. You end up talking too much about yourself, interrupting to share a better story, or constantly scanning her face to see if she's impressed yet. That constant need for validation signals a deep-seated uncertainty. It tells her that your confidence is fragile, and depends entirely on her reaction. Authentic confidence, on the other hand, is silent. It doesn't need to be announced because it's woven into your very existence. To turn this around, you have to make a radical shift. Stop focusing on being impressive and start focusing on being present. Real attraction flourishes in a relaxed environment where there is no hidden agenda. When you stop performing, your entire energy changes. You stop worrying about the next clever thing to say and actually start listening. You begin to ask thoughtful, genuine questions because you're actually curious about her, not just waiting for your turn to speak. This makes you stand out instantly because most men are too busy auditioning to actually be there. When you are present, the conversation flows effortlessly. You aren't forcing a result, you're sharing an experience. This non-needy attitude is magnetic because it suggests that you are already satisfied with who you are. A man who is comfortable in his own skin doesn't need to rush to prove his value, and that mystery is exactly what makes people want to know more about him. 2. Attention is not attraction. A massive fundamental mistake that keeps men stuck in the friend zone is the total confusion between attention and attraction. It is a trap that is easy to fall into because attention feels good. When a woman is texting you back quickly, laughing at your jokes, or agreeing to hang out, it's easy to assume you're winning. However, you must understand that attention is often just a polite social exchange or a source of ego validation for the other person. People love to be heard, seen, and complimented. It's a basic human desire. Just because she enjoys the service of your attention doesn't mean she feels a romantic spark for you. If you don't understand the difference, you'll find yourself giving everything away for free only to be shocked when she tells you she just doesn't see you that way. The trap most men fall into is thinking that attention is a currency they can trade for attraction. They believe that if they just give enough, if they send that good morning text every day, respond within seconds, and make themselves available for every whim, eventually she will realize how great they are and fall for them. This is a recipe for disaster. Attraction is not a reward for good behavior or constant availability. In fact, being hyper-available usually has the opposite effect. It kills the mystery and smothers the excitement before it even has a chance to grow. When you are always there, always texting, and always checking in, you signal that you have zero options, zero boundaries, and nothing more important going on in your life. You become predictable, and predictability is the death of romantic tension. The reality is that attraction needs space to breathe. It's like a fire. If you pack the wood too tightly, the flame will suffocate and die. It needs the oxygen of absence. Men who are naturally attractive understand this instinctively. They don't overinvest in someone they've just met, because their life is already full of purpose, hobbies, and responsibilities. They stay fully engaged and present when they are with a woman, but they don't feel the need to fill every silent hour of the day with digital noise. This creates a healthy sense of anticipation. It allows her the opportunity to wonder about you, to miss you, and to invest her own energy back into the relationship. You aren't playing games. You are simply living a high-value life where your attention is something to be earned, not a bottomless resource. By pulling back and focusing on your own path, you allow attraction to develop at a natural, sustainable, and powerful pace. 3. The power of calm confidence in a world that screams for attention. Most men have been conditioned to believe that confidence is synonymous with being the loudest, most dominant, or most aggressive person in the room. They think they need to take up all the air, win every argument, and constantly assert their presence to be noticed. But this alpha caricature is actually a mask for deep-seated insecurity. Real, magnetic confidence is quiet. It is what we call calm confidence, the internal realization that you are already enough, which removes the desperate need to prove your worth to anyone else. When you have this, you don't walk into a room looking to conquer it. You walk in and simply exist within it. This energy is incredibly rare, and because of that rarity, it acts like a beacon. It tells everyone around you that you are a man of substance, who isn't easily rattled by external opinions or social awkwardness. This specific type of energy is most visible in the moments where other men usually stumble. The silences. An insecure man finds silence unbearable. He feels a frantic pressure to fill the gap with a joke, a story, or a question because he worries that if the conversation stops, the interest dies. A man with calm confidence, however, is perfectly fine with silence. He can hold eye contact, stay relaxed, and wait for the right moment to speak, rather than the first moment. He doesn't rush to fix things, and he doesn't get defensive when someone challenges his views. He stays grounded because his identity is anchored in his own self-respect, not in the fluctuating approval of the people around him. He is the anchor in the storm, and that emotional steadiness creates an immediate sense of safety and trust. Projecting this strength doesn't mean you have to be cold, stoic, or distant. In fact, a truly confident man can be incredibly warm, friendly, and engaging because he isn't afraid of being vulnerable or being liked. The difference is that he is unshakable. While other men are rushing for result, trying to force a phone number, a date, or a physical escalation, the man with calm confidence moves at his own pace. He has the ultimate luxury, patience. He knows that forcing progress is a sign of weakness, whereas allowing things to develop naturally is a sign of power. In a society where most people are vibrating with anxiety and social thirst, your ability to remain still, focused, and secure makes you stand out more than any flashy car or expensive watch ever could. 4. Neediness is a silent killer. Neediness is perhaps the single most dangerous infection a man can have in his dating life because it works in the shadows. Most men don't even realize they're being needy. They think they're just being nice, attentive, or interested. But neediness isn't about what you do. It's about why you do it. It is rooted in emotional dependency, the idea that you need a specific reaction from a woman to feel okay about yourself. If your mood soars when she texts you back quickly, but plummets into anxiety when she takes 3 hours to reply, you are operating from a place of neediness. You have essentially handed her the remote control to your emotions. This creates an invisible, heavy pressure in the interaction. Even if she can't quite put it into words, she can feel that your happiness is hooked to her behavior, and that pressure instinctively makes her want to pull away to regain her freedom. This pattern usually stems from a lifetime of being taught to seek approval. Many men have been raised to be the perfect guy, the one who over-explains, over-apologizes for minor things, and constantly bends his own schedule to accommodate someone else's. This behavior screams a desperate message, "Please like me, I'm doing everything right." But attraction does not grow in an environment of supplication. When you place a woman on a pedestal, you are forcing her to look down on you. By making her the center of your universe the moment you meet her, you signal that your own universe was empty to begin with. You aren't offering her a partnership. You're asking her to be the source of your self-worth. That is a massive burden that no woman wants to carry, and it is the fastest way to turn interest into pity or annoyance. The antidote to neediness is internal stability. Real attraction grows when a man is focused on his own goals, his personal growth, and his own mission. When you have a life that is genuinely fulfilling, full of hobbies, brothers, and ambitions, a woman becomes a beautiful addition to your life, not the lifeblood of it. This shift in perspective changes everything. You no longer approach interactions from a place of hunger, looking for a win to validate your ego. Instead, you approach from a place of abundance. You are a complete man who is inviting her to share in the great life you've already built. If she responds well, that's great. If she doesn't, your life and your mission remain unchanged. This independence is the ultimate form of power. It shows that you are a man of direction, who doesn't need anyone else's permission to feel valuable, and that kind of self-contained strength is the ultimate trigger for deep, lasting attraction. 5. Purpose over looks. Most men are caught in a cycle of endless anxiety regarding their physical appearance. They spend hours obsessing over things they can barely control, like their height, or pouring all their energy into surface-level upgrades like expensive clothes or a specific gym aesthetic. While taking care of your health and looking your best is a sign of self-respect, it's not the foundation of attraction. The reality is that looks only get you noticed. They don't keep you relevant. The real aphrodisiac, the thing that creates a lasting magnetic pull, is purpose. Having a purpose means you are a man on a mission. It means you have a central focus, whether it's mastering a craft, building a business, or pursuing a personal goal that is more important than the pursuit of women. This mission dictates how you spend your time, how you value yourself, and how you interact with the world. When you have a genuine purpose, you move differently than other men. There is a weight and a focus to your presence that cannot be faked. You aren't sitting around waiting for a text or wondering if people like you because your mind is occupied by the work you're doing. This discipline creates a natural momentum. People are instinctively drawn to movement. They want to be around a man who is going somewhere, not a man who is standing still waiting for someone to tell him he's worthy. When you are building something meaningful, your energy shifts from seeking to becoming. This creates a powerful frame where your time becomes a valuable resource. You don't have to tell people you're busy or important. They can feel the focus radiating from you, and that creates an automatic level of respect that a gym membership alone can never provide. Without purpose, a man becomes spiritually and socially stagnant. He falls into the trap of comparison, constantly looking at other men and feeling inadequate because he lacks an internal compass. He seeks female attention to fill the void of his own inaction. But when you have a mission, attention becomes a secondary byproduct of your success, rather than the goal itself. Your conversations gain substance because you have real-world experiences and challenges to draw from. Your decisions carry more weight because they are aligned with your long-term vision. Looks might open a door for a fleeting moment, but your direction, ambition, and the energy of progress are what hold interest for the long haul. The most attractive thing you can do is stop obsessing over the exterior and start building an interior life that is so compelling you don't need anyone's approval to feel complete. 6. Emotional control is strength. One of the most powerful yet frequently ignored pillars of masculine energy is emotional control. Many men confuse being tough with being aggressive or loud, but true strength is found in the ability to manage your internal state regardless of external circumstances. This isn't about being a robot or suppressing your feelings until you explode. It's about the gap between a situation happening and you choosing how to respond to it. Most men react instantly. If they feel ignored, they get needy. If they feel disrespected, they get defensive. If a woman acts distant, they panic. These instant reactions are a massive red flag because they signal that your internal world is fragile. If a small remark or a delayed text message can ruin your day, it shows that you are not the leader of your own life. You are a passenger to your emotions. True strength is the ability to stay steady when the world around you is in chaos. When you stop taking every social slight or shift in mood personally, you become exponentially more powerful. You begin to understand that people have their own stresses, bad days, and personal battles that have absolutely nothing to do with you. This realization gives you the freedom to remain unshakable. While other men are chasing emotional highs, constantly seeking a win to feel good or crashing into lows when things go wrong, you remain balanced. You are the anchor. This internal stability is incredibly rare in a world where everyone is hyper-reactive and easily offended. When you project a presence that cannot be easily disturbed, you become a source of strength that others naturally want to lean on. Having emotional control changes the entire dynamic of how you are perceived. It signals that you have a high threshold for pressure. In a social or romantic setting, if a man can stay calm, maintain his sense of humor, and keep his composure when things get uncomfortable, he demonstrates a level of self-mastery that is deeply attractive. It shows that he trusts himself. This stillness makes you stand out because it conveys that you aren't desperate for a specific outcome. You aren't trying to control the situation. You're simply in control of yourself. This kind of unshakable energy is far more compelling than any rehearsed line or flashy display of status because it proves that you are grounded in your own reality, making you a man of true substance. 7. The power of walking away. In the world of human dynamics, there is one ultimate law that dictates the balance of any interaction. The person who is most willing to walk away holds the power. This isn't a tactic for manipulation, nor is it about being cold, heartless, or playing mind games. It is about the fundamental principle of self-respect. Many men operate from a place of deep-seated fear, the fear that if they don't hold on with everything they have, they will end up alone. Because of this fear, they start to compromise on things they never thought they would. They lower their standards, they tolerate subtle disrespect, and they accept breadcrumbs of affection. They think that by being endlessly patient and enduring poor behavior, they are proving their loyalty or love. In reality, they are communicating that they don't value themselves enough to leave. The moment you show someone that you will tolerate anything just to stay in their presence, your value in their eyes doesn't go up, it plummets. When you lose the ability to walk away, you lose your voice and your identity. You become a passenger in your own life, constantly adjusting your behavior and walking on eggshells just to keep the peace or avoid a breakup. This creates a desperate, suffocating energy that people can feel from a mile away. It's the energy of a man who is trapped. Contrast this with a man who has clear, firm boundaries. A man who knows his own worth, understands that his time, his attention, and his emotional investment are high-value assets. He is willing to give those things generously to someone who appreciates them, but he is equally willing to withdraw them the moment those things are taken for granted or disrespected. This isn't about throwing a tantrum or making threats. It's the quiet, internal realization that you simply do not belong in a place where you are not valued. When you are willing to walk away from a toxic, lopsided, or unfulfilling situation, you send a powerful message. I like you, but I love myself more. Being willing to walk away is the ultimate cure for social anxiety and neediness. When you are no longer controlled by the fear of loss, you become a completely different version of yourself. You become more authentic, more relaxed, and infinitely more attractive. Why? Because you aren't performing for a specific outcome anymore. You aren't trying to trick her into staying. You are simply showing up as you are, knowing that if it works out, that's great, and if it doesn't, your life will continue to move forward with purpose and direction regardless. You have the confidence to know that your happiness is not tethered to one single person. This level of independence is incredibly rare, and it creates a magnetic pull that is hard to ignore. People naturally respect those who respect themselves. When you show that you have the strength to leave a situation that makes you feel small, you demonstrate a level of self-mastery that commands respect without you ever having to say a word. The power of walking away is ultimately about having a life that is bigger than any one relationship. If your life is a hollow shell, of course you're going to cling to any scrap of attention you get. But if you are a man of purpose, someone who is building a career, nurturing friendships, and pursuing a mission, then walking away isn't a tragedy. It's a strategic decision to protect your peace. You don't stay where you aren't celebrated. You don't stay where you have to beg for basic decency. By being prepared to walk, you actually create the conditions where people want you to stay. They realize that you aren't a guaranteed commodity that they can mistreat without consequence. They see that you're a man with standards, and that realization forces them to level up to meet you. This is the ultimate form of high-value energy, the quiet, unshakable confidence of a man who knows he is complete on his own, and who is never afraid to choose his own self-respect over a bad situation.